Thoughtless casual gaming. Thoughtless casual gaming. Thoughtless casual gaming. Thoughtless casual gaming.
Hello, you're listening to Thoughtless Casual Gaming with Brett and Jace. We are a Geelong-based gaming podcast where we play games badly and then talk crap about them. And we thought we'd throw in one more episode before the end of the year. And what better thing to talk about than Blood Bowl?
I mean, have we talked about anything else?
Yeah, look, we may as well get one more Blood Bowl episode in this year before we reset.
Yeah. Arguably, we could actually talk about other things, but let's not do that because Blood Bowl.
Because Blood Bowl.
I will also apologise in advance for the inevitable sniffing. I've got a head full of hay fever today. So I've doubled up all the medication I possibly can, but it hasn't quite kicked in. So we'll see how this lands.
It could be an interesting episode halfway through when it all does kick in.
Yeah. Look, I'm not sure. They're recommended dosages as far as I'm concerned, and they're usually pretty conservative on the box. So let's give it a go. 3
times the amount is the right amount. Anyway, we have been running for the last couple of months. We've been running a league, a Blood Bowl league, down at our local friendly neighborhood game shop. Throw the dice with 20 players. Look.
It's been great. There's been so many Blood Bowls.
First and foremost, like, how awesome is it to have 20 players in the league? Like, that was unheard of.
Unexpected.
Unheard of, just totally out of the blue, and rejoice because it's been fantastic. I split the 20 players into 2 groups of 10. So divisions. What else can you call them?
I don't know.
It's the official word. I don't know.
Are they conferences?
Conferences? Yeah, conferences is a very American word.
Yeah, let's do that.
I did it totally randomly, apart from some of the teams I split up non-randomly. So
the correct kind of random.
The correct kind of random. Look, it was mostly random, except, if I found that we had 2 guys that wanted to play Skaven, for example. 1 goes in each conference. I just split it up rather than have one conference with 2 or 3 of the same race team, and that kind of makes it a little bit less exciting for the other people in that division when every week they're going up against the same team. I split those people up, and the other people that I split up were you and me.
Yeah,
because I figured.
Did drive a wedge between us, but that way we could meet up again in the finals. That was the dream, right? We were both just going to clear out our respective conferences and then just meet up again in the finals and have once again a podcast off.
We've done that too many times. I really did not want to do well this league. That was my aim going in. I thought, right, what else? I can't play edge teams to save my life. I've never been able to do it. I've always failed miserably. That's the way I'm going. I'm taking one of them. There's no way I'm getting into the finals.
Yeah, and to be fair, I did pretty much exactly that as well, in that I took vampires, which arguably in 11's not too bad. Arguably in 7's with a bit of a skill pack, not too bad. In straight up 7's league format, though, always rough. Always. The plan was to push myself, give people some fun games, but not make it easy.
Yeah, no, that's it. I wasn't ever trying to lose, but I was definitely not trying to win from the outset, that's for sure. What else? They're never going to make the finals. Anyway, so 10 teams a division at a conference. We played every team in our conference, so 9 games. 20 players, great. Not many forfeits, concedes.
There were a couple towards the very end of the season when sort of real life happened in December. But beyond that, it was pretty, and not only very few forfeits, right? But we also had a lot of games happening for a lot of the season on dedicated Blood Bowl Monday.
Which was fantastic. It was always good just
so
to
good.
fill up, throw the dice with random chaotic sports bowl.
Yeah. And it's one of those that you get so many games in, but because the profile or the size of the board is so small, we don't actually take up the whole store, which means you get other games and stuff happening. There's a lot of going, oh, what's happening over there with the 20 people down the middle of the store giggling their asses off.
It's Blood Bowl's always fun. It's always hilarity on both sides of the pitch, usually. Unless everything goes wrong for you. It depends on how well you take that.
Look, you've got to lean into the chaos, and if you can't do that, it's maybe not the right game.
Anyway, so what I thought, this is just a bit of a wrap-up episode to give people a rundown what happened in the league, who came out on top, where we ended up, all that sort of stuff. So 9 games, everybody plays every other team in their division, and then the top 2 in each division will play off in the semis. So Division 1, the top player will play the second person in Division 2 and vice versa. And then the winner of both those games goes on into the final. Pretty simple stuff.
It's like we've done it before.
Like we've done it before. Not overly simple for tour play. It doesn't like me trying to set up matches between divisions. That just didn't work.
It fundamentally feels like it should be just a straight up out of the box option, right? That's how it works.
Just the way it actually works is it kind of treats them as 2 different leagues,
which defeats the purpose of having two. I just work here. I don't know. I am not a tour play developer. I will say it was amazing for recording everything during the league. It has been an absolute cracker of a tool to use as a user. But yeah, there's some stuff on the other side of the fence that just didn't quite work as we would like it to work. And the more you want to mess with it, the more you've got to wrangle.
Yes. I had plans for the next league and things I would like to do, but also things that I know tour play will not let me do and would just be an absolute headache for me. So said plans may be scrapped. But yeah, so a bit of a rundown. I thought Jason and I can go through our games just quickly, who we played, how we fared, that sort of thing. Shall we do it all at once? So
just round by round?
Round by round or all at once? What do you reckon?
Go round by round. I think it's probably... Otherwise, they have to listen to me talk for far too long.
All right. So round 1, my Wood Elves, which are a very expensive team. And round 1, my treasury did not go as far as I would like it. So I had 1 War Dancer, 1 catcher, and then last minute I changed the second catcher to a thrower, thinking, let's give a thrower a go. What's the worst that can happen? So I had 3 positionals and 4 linemen, and I played up against Josh and his Imperial Nobility. So Josh being the awesome player to play with that he is, and it was a cracking game. Like, it was high scoring. It was very interesting. The elves, the way I started playing them was very much, okay, what's the bullshit play here? Because that's what an elf player would do. And then I'd work that out, and then I'd do the bullshit play, and 9 times out of 10, it would actually be bullshit. So I came away 3-2 up on that game. Yeah. So high scoring, but look, the elf bullshit definitely won the game there.
So my round 1, I was playing Liam with the Norse. And for context, I knew it was going to be a fun game. Because I played Liam a bunch of times before. He was the commish of the first league I ever played in. He also plays a lot more Blood Bowl than I am. He's a lot better at the game. Playing a lot better team. So
And he incidentally won the 80-player tournament that was
Big V,
late this year.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think he ended up second at the Vic Masters or overall results.
So
Look,
halfway decent player.
dude can roll a block dice occasionally. Look, it was an interesting game because it was also the first real run with the vamps I'd had.
Mm-hmm.
So I was running 3 vamps at this point in time. I kind of filled out with thralls, thinking I would try and mitigate animal savagery. Long story short here, Liam worked out, this was literally the first sevens he'd really played, right? And he worked out really, really quickly that if you just score really quickly and then defend really hard, like speed kind of kills in this game. So he did exactly that. He scored super quickly. And then I decided that I wanted to do things with vampires, but when he kicked to me, the ball went kind of back corner of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, I don't want to send a vampire all the way back there. I want them to do things. So I sent a thrall back there. And the thrall did not pick up the ball.
A lot.
For at least 4 turns. By which time Liam had swarmed and decided to score again after we kind of messed around and there was a big old kind of scrum in my backfield, but that was not a good place for that to happen. Look, that was not pretty. I ended up going down 2-0 in that one.
Okay.
But good way to kick off the season.
Yeah. It's always a fun game against Liam too.
Yeah.
So round 2, I played Jared and his Tomb Kings. Now this was a scary, scary thought for me. The high strength Tomb Kings against my low armor elves. Turns out I needn't have worried because he didn't seem to be able to get through my armor very much, and I walked away with a 2-1 win on that one as well. So, 2 games, 2 wins. Sitting pretty at the moment.
What are you doing? Whereas me, on the other hand, I was playing Riley. So his first league, has only played a handful of Blood Bowl games before this, to be honest, with his Black Orcs. And it was pretty uneventful for 90% of the game. I mean, I got pummeled to hell, both by his team and my team. This is kind of when I discovered the joy of animal savagery and what it can do. So I did as much damage to myself as he did. But it was just one of those games where things did not go wrong. And, what I went into feeling relatively confident as a matchup, he just held me back, snuck in a 1 touchdown, and I just couldn't recover it. Little Goblin did his thing, ran through, put it down. So that was a 1-0 against me as well, where I had, 2 deaths and a player quit.
Ouch.
Yeah, and a player quit.
So 3 people down.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Some of them were thralls. It was okay.
Whatever. What do you need thralls for?
Overrated.
Apart from the vampire factor of the team. But anyway. So round 3, I played Big JB. So he was playing Skaven. This is one of the ones I couldn't quite make it to the Monday night. So we tied up a game later on down the track. And being Skaven, it was a bit of a score fest again. But I, again, came away with a win 3-2 on that one.
Yeah, and I was playing Jared, so I also was playing a Skaven team. We had an abundance of Skaven. They were a thing that happened. The rats came out of everywhere. But he was running the Rat Ogre.
Mm-hmm.
So just one Gutter Runner and a Rat Ogre. Which, look, again, it was a lot of, again, Jared hasn't played a lot of Blood Bowl, but it was one of those games where I went, I don't actually need to give you any help here. You are just doing all of the things that I would suggest that you did. Yeah, this is great. But the good news for me in this instance is the vampires didn't murder too many other things.
Oh, that's good.
I did get one miss next game thanks to a Rat Ogre. But beyond that, we did okay. So I ended up with a 2-1 win on that one, where, again, things just worked. I'll take
Excellent.
it.
Yeah.
Did have a vampire decide to leave at that point in time, and that was the last time I put a skill on a vampire.
Seems like the way to go. You can't risk them, especially those high costing players.
I thought one would be safe, but nah.
Nah, that's not how this game works at all. So round 4, I played Anthony and his Blackhawks. So this was an interesting game because I kicked to him, I believe, first half, and he took the Blackhawks and slowly made his way down the pitch and scored. And then, being high elves and quick, I scored very quickly back. So I
Or
got
what else?
Wood elves. Sorry, my mistake. I don't know what I was playing.
Clearly.
Yes, and then so what happened in the second half was just incredible elf rubbish. Basically, it's so he kicked to me. The ball ended up halfway down the field in no man's land. The kickoff result was a high kick. Elf sits underneath the ball, catches the ball, runs straight in. So, and then I was kicking to him. The ball ends up close to my line of scrimmage, but still in no man's land. And the kick result was a blitz. So the thrower jumped underneath that one, surrounded by a bit of a cage. And then, that was a 3-1 victory to me. So
that's brutal.
Yeah, look, the dice gods were not shining on him, and they were definitely shining on me because everything, all the elfery that could happen, happened.
I love it. So my next game was I played Ant, and he was running Imperial Nobility, and possibly the most savage Imperial Nobility team I've ever seen. Right, so he was running the Ogre, he was running a Thrower, and a couple of blitzers. Happy days, right? But he proceeded to just pound the shit out of my team. And he's like, all right, well, if I kill all the thralls, then the vampires are screwed. Not unreasonable logic there. So literally in the first, half of the game, I had 2 thralls and a vampire badly hurt.
Okay.
He was fouling. He was doing it. He went hard to just try and get the numbers, so he held the ball. So he grabbed the ball and held it for a fair amount of that while he just pounded the shit out of my team. Took a few off the pitch, and then scored. Second half, literally all I could do was bullshit things. I mean, I'm still Edge 2. I've still got Hypnogaze, and I relied on all of those things to run down the sideline and do everything I can to level it. So it ended up as a 1-1. But it was a clincher. I was not looking confident after having half my team off the pitch.
Yeah. The thing with sevens is because you've got 7 players, when you start losing them, it can completely turn a match in your opponent's favor.
Yeah. And I'm
yeah.
very much noticing 2 kinds of players in this too. It's the I can score faster than you, and the if I just remove all your players, I win.
Yeah.
Like they are fundamentally the two types, and it doesn't matter what team they're playing. I feel like those styles of play come out regardless.
Yes. No, definitely. And look, the thing with the elves, like I said, I mean, I was very worried from the get-go about the low armor value, but they're fragile. They will run fast. They will hopefully run around people and dodge away and do all the stuff that they need to do. But when they get hit, they will go down. And their armor value is 8 on 2 dice. It's not hard to do. Up until game 5, really hadn't had an issue. I think I had one injury. I had a couple of elves knocked out at various points. I had one that was out for the rest of the game. But game 5 is where it really showed how quickly a couple of injuries can turn a game around. I was up against Gertzie's Skaven. So Skaven Elves should be a high scoring match.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I believe it was probably on. Oh, what was I think? Yes. No, he rolled a blitz when kicking off to me. And so all of a sudden there were rats right at my line of scrimmage. So I turned around and punched his blitzer, which was standing there.
Seems fair.
Seems fair. And injured him. So he was off for the game.
Yeah.
Turn 2, I punched a lineman, injured him. He was off for the game. So all of a sudden, Gertzie's down 2 players. And like Skaven being fast, they've still got to have a couple of numbers on that to make it, really.
Yeah, well, and you're still in Edge 3. You want some like contingency for when things don't go your way for most of their players.
Yeah, exactly. So that game ended up 3-1 in my favour. So I'd scored twice before he even got a touchdown back. And yeah, Gertzie, what did he play? He played humans last league. And he saw what the Skaven could do, and he was like, yeah, I want some of that. I don't think the Skaven did what the Skaven do for Gertzie this season.
Oh, poor Gertzie.
Yeah.
I mean, they do things, right? They do very good things.
They do very good things, but yeah. When they don't do the said good things, it doesn't help.
No, that's rough. What was I? I was playing Moose's Undead, the Shambling Undead. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, going into this, it's an okay matchup. They have the punch on me probably with the mummy is the biggest concern here. I mean, and he's also got a white, so he's got some more block than me because I am not taking skills on vampires. I'm not doing anything that crawls. We've learnt this, right? So I received and pretty quickly turned that straight into a touchdown. That was a run down the side, gave somebody out of the way and, make a 2+ dodge, and we're happy days. The defense was a little bit rough for Moose. He tried a foul, got a skeleton sent off.
Mm-hmm. It's only a skeleton.
Yeah. I then decided to punch a mummy, and he ended up badly hurt. I think
mummy?
It was, yeah.
Oh, God.
So all of a sudden he don't have the strength advantage that he had and managed to blitz the ghoul who had the ball and run that for a second touchdown. He did save it in the end and sort of returned a touchdown after that. The white did most of the work on that one, and I couldn't hurt him because the bastard had blocked. So all of my blockings did naught. So that ended up in a 2-1, but I probably punched a little bit above the weight then.
All right, round 6. Now we're getting into the thick of things. So teams are a bit more developed. They've had a chance to get some skills and had a chance to get people drafted. So round 6, I came up against Mark and his Amazons. And this was a scary thought going in because, I mean, this is old school Amazons. This is not the new roster. But, yeah, look, we ended up bashing heads a bit. And I injured one of his blitzers, I don't know, about halfway through the game. And then my thrower injured one of his guys as well. So, look, I'm looking back at it, and there's a lot of injuries, a lot of casualties. There's a foul, so he got sent off, fouling one of my guys. I expected this to be a hard game, but by the end of it, like 3 people left on the pitch. I think that was for me. But still, I've got a catcher who is just edge 2, dodge, and movement 27 or
I was
whatever
about
it
to
is.
say, is he what, an 8?
He's an 8, yes.
Yeah.
He, towards the end of the game, I managed to score twice with him and take a 2-0 win.
Fucking sneaky kids.
So, yeah, all right, here we are, round 6, and we are currently 6-0.
Bloody hell.
Not only that, but I, at this point, had not had an elf injured for longer than the rest of the game. I had no deaths and I had no miss next games. Like,
Fuck off.
I don't know what was going on because that is not the way that elves play.
No, and I guarantee you, if I ran elves next season, that would not be the way that they played. I could even run high elves. I run the high armor elves, and that would not be what happened.
So, yeah, look, by embracing the bullshit, I had done quite a few touchdowns that I probably shouldn't have. I had the thrower was getting his money's worth. He was worth his weight in gold because he was just piffing the ball around left, right, and center when I needed him to, and pretty much accurate all the time. So yeah, 6 rounds, 6-0. Yeah.
Fucking hell. I don't want to play a team that might win. Alrighty.
I didn't want to. I didn't expect them to.
Oh god. So all right. So I was playing Dylan. So Dylan's Dark House, he's the only team that kind of rolled over from last season because he finally got the team to where he wanted it, and then in his first game, most of his team quit or got murdered, and so he's basically starting from scratch again. Poor dude. We're at round 6. He's looking okay at this point in time. I initially kind of went in with a plan of, try and keep it, like, basically defend hard. It was interesting because Dylan and I work at the same place.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of, hey, I'm playing this game next sort of game. I'm thinking about doing this. What do you reckon about this? Like, there's a lot of work chat around, tactics for games. And then all of a sudden I get radio silence coming into this one. Which I thought was a little bit rude.
Keeping the cards close to his own.
And look, we were both in the middle of the pack, both with a chance of making finals, but needed to get a result. We were kind of the one holding each other back at this point in time. So look, I went in with a game plan to basically just defend hard, try and push him or make it hard for him to score, long story short. But that changed pretty quickly when, in the very start of the game, I managed to injure a lineman and then the witch elf.
Oh, okay.
Pretty rapid succession. And at that point in time, I decided to completely change tactics, which is always a good decision, and play the if I just murder everything, I win game. And at that exact moment, my armor dice decided to not play ball. And I did shit all with them for the rest of the game. So I spent a lot of the game trying to murder things that would not die.
So what you're telling me is that in a game of Blood Bowl, you decided to rely on the dice to do the work for you?
They were already doing it. So I just went, right, I'll just lean into this.
But they were doing it because you didn't intend it.
But
That's the way Blood Bowl works. You know this.
Correct, but I was already 2 up, so I figured I've got 2 players on him. I might as well just maximize this. I'm out punching him with strength 4 on the vampires anyway.
Yep.
I've now got assist out the way, so let's go to hell. He was running 3 blitzes though, so a little bit. So
there's that block, isn't it?
He did then return favour with said blitzers, and because he hadn't changed tactics, he also scored with said blitzer. Which, look, I managed to, in the end of the game, I received for the second half and managed to get that one back. So we levelled, we got it, and that ended up as a 1-1. But there's probably a lesson there about completely changing tactics when things start happening in the middle of a game. What could go wrong?
Nah, either everything or nothing. It's one of the two.
Look, it was a calculated risk. I just don't own a calculator.
Did you actually calculate anything, or you just went for the risk?
Oh, my maths is very bad.
All right, round 7. So getting into the nitty gritty of things, I played Clinton in his corn, and this
You should have
was a
died.
game. I should have died. Again, I came out of this completely unscathed.
Fuck off.
So I had, let's just have a quick look here. I had one elf lineman sent off for trying to foul, and I had another one out for the game. That was it. That was all my injuries.
Fuck.
However, I managed to score probably about halfway through the game. So I was leading 1-0. And then this is first half. And then somehow I managed to get out passed by a corn team. So end result was a 2-1 loss. So first loss of the season. But I lost from a passing corn team, which I just find absolutely hilarious and just perfect. So he not only threw a ball with a corn gore to a lineman to equalize,
Love it.
but then in the last round of the game, managed to throw with a lineman to another lineman to take the victory.
I mean, sometimes you need to make the stretch plays.
Yeah,
That is-
I mean, it worked. And one of my linemen had enough at that point and said, "Screw this team! I'm going up to the big leagues." So, I mean, when I say I didn't have any injuries, I did have people drafted, but I generally kept them to line people, so I wasn't overly hurting myself by my allocation of skills. But yeah, look, the injuries that I was expecting at the start of the season have still not come.
This is again. I mean, I like that he won. I like that he made the stretch plays, but this is not how the game should have played out.
No, I mean,
Oh,
Corn should have been knocking me
you
all
should
over
have
that pitch.
just clear the pitch in the first 3 turns and then do what you want. All right, so I was playing. Oh, so this is my second Skaven, and honestly, the Skaven game I was worried about because this is the team that was the double gutter runner.
Yep.
Look, which happened. Look, and again, I expected a score fest. It was going to come back to who could defend, and it was an interesting one. So the way this played out is I received, I'm pretty sure, and managed to score pretty quickly. He played super aggressively down one side. I boxed him in pretty well, and there was a moment there where we had a couple of ways which potentially let him score. And I'm like, all right, I think we could do this one. And he's like, no, I've got a better idea. And it was just the dice came off. Things happened. I mean, the odds are he probably should have, as long as he made the blocks in the right order. He made them in the right order, cleared the space he needed to, and scored with the blitzer because I definitely locked down the gutter runners. So he made the handoff to the blitzer who scored, which honestly I wasn't really looking at because I'm so focused on the gutter runners at this point in time. And then the second half was interesting where it was basically just a repeat performance where he ran hard down one side, tried to double back. I held him back for as long as I could, but 9 is a very long way.
Yep, it certainly is.
So he did end up getting the second one in the second half, so ended up at a 2-1 loss. But again, first season, I'm playing rats, on easy mode, but he's come like for someone who hadn't played Blood Bowl beforehand, he's absolutely killing it.
That's awesome. Like, we had so many new players this season. It was so good to have people new to the game getting that excited about the game.
Yeah. And not only like getting excited, but also wrapping their heads really quickly around how it kind of plays.
Yep.
And doing pretty well.
No, definitely. So round 8, I had some tough teams back half of this league. Round 8, I came up against Alice's Nurgle. So Alice is known for forgetting that there's a ball in this game and
Good
just
tactic.
deciding to bash everybody all of the time.
Not
So
the worst anti-elf tactic. Can I put
not
it out there?
not at all. And I think that's what she tried to do, but it's not what actually happened. I don't think the dice were with her. I still have my throw. I still have my catcher. I still get the 2-0 victory, and I had one elf miss the next game after this game. This was my first elf that actually had something that affected the next game. So, not dead.
This is the sound of my heart bleeding.
Oh, it was hard. It was hard. It was sorry to see him go. I mean, he was back after the next game, but yeah. So
Bruised his fucking thigh or some shit. Like he had a corked thigh. That's what's happened here.
yeah. He strained his groin in the pre-game warm-up.
Yeah, I was about to say it wasn't even during the game, was it?
But so yeah, 8 games in, 7 wins, 1 loss. Not too shabby.
Bloody hell. So this is kind of wrapping up. We knew who we were going to play this. It just came down to which order.
Yeah.
And frankly, these were 2 games I was looking forward to because they were going to be fun regardless of which order they happened and what happened in them. So Mike's Humans was my next game. Again, his first league, his very first Blood Bowl team. He had a pretty rough run, to be perfectly honest, this season. His team did,
yes.
His team did not play nicely. So, it was one of those things that we kind of... and it was still one of those games where I feel like because things, even when he did the right thing, quote unquote, Dice decided to let him down. So I think there was some confusion about how this game actually works from Mike. Because he's like, you said do a thing, and then I did the thing, and then the thing didn't work. I'm like, yeah, but that's not on me.
That's on the dice.
That was absolutely the right thing to do. And there was a fair bit of that in this game as well, to be perfectly honest. Like, he was making all the right plays, but just not pulling them off. So, look, I actually, for something different, scored with a thrall this game. I let them do something. Usually it's, no, you are there kicked by a vampire.
You are dinner. You are not a player.
Yeah. You were there, literally as a contingency plan and something to snack on. But no, we had to make the play. We had to hand off to a thrall. It was a little bit clenching, but we managed that one. Mike returned. Look, it took a little bit. I held him back for as long as I physically could, but he managed to return that one. And then the defense kind of came off in the second half, and I managed to snag the ball off him and do all the right things and run a vampire in. So that was a 2-1 win for me.
All right, last game of the season. I came up against Mark's Norse. So Yelv's Norse.
You did not get an easy run at the last of it.
No, the last 4 games, Amazons, Khorne, Nurgle, Norse. A lot of punchy teams. This one, look, it was a close game. It could have very easily been a draw. However, I didn't quite get the things that I needed to do so. So this was a 1-0 loss. The highlight of this, though, I mean, there was Norse. There was frenzy going on. There was a lot of punching going on. His Yeti crowd surfed one of my guys, but ended up on the edge of the pitch with a couple of my guys around him. I moved a guy around next to him and then did a 2 dice uphill with a catcher on the Yeti. and crowd surfed his Yeti.
Oh, you joke. That's brilliant.
So
I love it.
that was the absolute highlight for me. So, yeah, 1-0 loss. So we finish up 7 wins, 2 losses. That's not too shabby.
That is reasonable. Whereas my last game was James's Tomb King. So again, we had 2 Tomb Kings players. This
Yeah.
just unfathomable. Who would choose to play Tomb Kings?
James and Jared.
Yeah, not after this season. Anywho, they've learnt the error of their ways. This game may as well not have happened. I mean, it was fun.
Okay.
It was a good hour of my life. We had fun. There was giggles. We watched other stuff happen, right? But effectively, nothing happened in this game.
Okay.
Nobody was injured. Nobody caused a casualty. Nobody fouled anyone. Nobody scored anything. We could have hit start into a play, hit stop into a play, and had exactly the same things. I mean, I'm relatively sure I forgot some inducements because this is the last game of the season, so I'm like, fuck it, let's just go all in.
Mhm.
And I bought desperate measures and stuff and then probably forgot to use them. But yeah, we might as well not have recorded this game into a play at all because it added 0. That's how that ended up. And at that point in time, I decided it was okay to give Vampire another improvement.
That seems fair. So the league is officially over. We are heading into finals. So I'll just run through my conference quickly. So Jared unfortunately came right down the bottom with his Tomb Kings. So
That's what you get for playing Tomb Kings.
Not a single win, 3 draws, 6 losses. Gertzy came 9th. So 1 win, 4 draws, 4 losses. Quickly followed by Josh with the same 1 win, 4 draws, 4 losses. Clinton snuck into 7th place with 3 wins, including 1 over me. 1 draw, 5 losses. Now, Clinton unfortunately couldn't play like his last 2 games, so he could have very well ended up a bit higher than that. JB, 6th. So 2 wins, 5 draws, 2 losses with the Skaven. Anthony with his Blackhawks ended up 5th, so 3-3-3. That's not bad for a first season at all. 4th place, Alice. Go, Alice. This is what happens when she remembers there's a ball. So 4 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses. 3rd place, Yelv with his Norse, 5 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, which leaves the top 2 going into the semis. So Mark and his Amazons on 6 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. And then the little Wood Elves that could 7 wins, 2
not
losses.
be injured.
Could not be injured, yes. We are invincible. Invincible, I say. Mark this down. Note the time. I am saying the Wood Elves are absolutely invincible. Anyway, how did your league finish up?
Shit, how did mine? So, all right, down the bottom in number 10. So, as we said, Mike did not have a good run. The team did not play nicely. It was his first season. He ended up with no wins, 4 draws, and 5 losses. It was a good draw percentage. Take the wins there.
Yeah.
Then Tomb Kings down the bottom where they belong as the most boring team in the game. 1 win, 5 draws, and 3 losses. Moose is Shambling Undead, 2 and 5 losses. Jared, Rat Ogre Rats. So 2 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses. So pretty good run there. You had me come up middle of the pack, literally 3-3-3. After that with the Vampires, and then directly above me in 5th, Dylan, also with 3-3-3, but he was playing Dark Elves. He scored a little bit more than I did. So he was still potentially a contender for finals going in. He was trying to work out the math, but it did not play out. Oz's Skaven, the gutter runners, did what they should have done. 4 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. So put him right up there for his first season. Again, first season contender Riley in third place with the Blackhawks. 5 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. And
one of those losses was a forfeit for the last game. He couldn't make the last game because of work. So, and that would have been close to put him up to second if he'd won that last game.
it would have been tight. He would have been, a contender, potentially. But alas, and then second place, Liam with the Norse, 6 wins, a draw, and 2 losses. And then Ant topping it with the Imperial Nobility, 6 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. So there was literally a draw versus a loss that was splitting those two.
Yep. That's not too shabby. So at the end of the season, a couple of little points of note. I'll start with the first one that's on we've put on the website. When I say we, it's me doing it, so I'm not sure why I'm starting with this. Most touchdowns for the league was the Wood Elves with 19. Most casualties. Well, this was a tie between Jared and his Skaven and James with his Tomb Kings, both with 9 casualties throughout the season. The most kills was Mark with his Amazons. So that was, let me just quickly scroll down, 4 deaths. The most fouls. Mike in his first season took fouls away with 10.
That's a good conversion rate.
That's not bad at all. And then for the spur of the moment, changing a catcher to a thrower, the most completions, the Wood Elves got that with 10. Next closest was 4, so they kind of ran away with that one.
No one else was trying to play that game, were they?
No, look, and I was doing it strictly because I had a 2+ thrower and a 2+ catcher, and most of the time I could get them in different directions and make it nice and easy. And if I couldn't do anything else, maybe I throw the ball. So we go into the finals. And so, like I said, first plays second cross division. So Ant with his Imperial Nobility played Mark's Amazons. I believe that was a tight game with Ant just pipping it at the end. Was it a 2-1? Do you remember?
Yes.
I think it was, 2-1 right at the last turn or something like that. I faced up against Liam's Norse. So I played Norse twice in a row. And you know how I've been saying that elves are supposed to die and supposed to get injured and all the rest of it.
They caught us.
This is the game. This is when they decided to do what they were supposed to do. And I had 1 death. I had elves off the field in droves.
I looked over at one point, and you had more players off the pitch than would fit in the casualty box.
Still, it was a tight game. Like, I scored twice before he could retaliate. And we went into overtime with him scoring twice back at me. And I won the coin toss for who was kicking. And I made him kick to me in
Correct.
overtime.
Yeah.
But by this stage, I had 3 people on the pitch.
I mean, that's enough, but only just.
I had a war dancer, a thrower, and a lineman, right?
Where's that catcher when you need him, right?
I know, he was gone. And then the kickoff result was the ref. They argued with the ref. And there goes the war dancer.
Oh, that is
So we're in golden
sweet.
goal time, and I have 2 players.
Yeah.
And he has a full team because he had, what did he have? Like 2 Valkyries and like 17 linemen or something.
Yeah, at this point in time, Liam had decided that positionals are basically a waste of time, effort, and money. So he'd run the Valkyries, But he then went just from, linemen. I think linemen are a good investment. I'm going to get a lot of them.
Yep. And he still had a full team. I had 2 players. I couldn't do much, and then by the 3rd or 4th round of overtime, I no longer had any players on the field, and so it was a 3-2 victory for Liam. And look, I was never meant to win this tournament, so this league, so I'm kind of success done. B, I lost to the guy that won Big V, so that's not a loss.
It is. That is definitely still a
No,
loss.
it's not.
That is exactly what the result says.
Hey, it's not on
Just
tour play. Tour play says nothing.
This game never happened.
This
But
game
we
never
know
happened.
It happened in our hearts. It was definitely a loss.
It was a great game. It was a really good game. And look, it's always finals are always fun games to play in. They're always tight. And when a final goes to overtime, that is the best. It's a real indication of the game itself that's going on and the players that are playing it. So I was very happy with the result that the Wood Elves did. I'm not taking them next season, but for me to be able to play an Edge team somewhat well, I was very happy with that.
It was almost not a success being a success, right? It was almost
Yes.
too successful.
It's almost too successful for its own good.
I fortunately did not have that problem.
Well, I'm hoping not to have that next season. So Ant and Liam play off again. Imperial Nobility against Norse in the grand final. And yeah.
It was, again, I was watching this game play out and it was still tight. I did have a conversation with Ant during the week. He was like, "Oh, do I drop the ogre? I'm thinking about dropping the ogre. Just go straight up more ball handling, or go the other blocker for some extra sort of anti-frenzy fun and whatnot." But he basically, I'd like to think he listened to my advice, but I also feel like he came to this decision before I said anything anyway. He basically went, "Look, I've done me so well this far, I'm not going to change anything up." So he went in like that. Liam went in with the lineman first approach. Operation Get Behind the Darkies over there.
Yep.
I looked over. I mean, there was a point there early on in the first half, and it was 1-1.
Mhm.
And then it was 1-1. And then it was 1-1. And the ogre did ogre things very early on, which I think led to that 1-1 happening.
Mhm.
I watched an uphill block on the... No, it wasn't even an uphill block, but I watched a block on the ogre, double skull it. And that player did not live anymore. So it was swings and roundabouts all the way around. So it ended up going back into overtime.
Again, great finals.
Which is exactly what you want for a finals, right? And even so, I'm pretty sure Liam's equaliser still involved some dice that really needed to go well, and Ant had a chance to catch up, but there was sort of dice that did not go the way that they were supposed to go. We go into overtime at 1-1. Ant kicks. So Liam wins the toss, selects to receive. Ant kicks. The kick scatters backwards to directly in front of the ogre on Ant's line of scrimmage. And it was just like, that could not be more perfect. So the very offensive turn that Liam was planning turned around pretty quickly. And even then, the overtime was backwards and forwards. Things happened, things did not happen, as intended. In the end, Ant ended up getting the extra touchdown, so winning the golden goal 2-1, and took out the whole league with the Imperial Nobility. So massive kudos there.
Yeah.
And
the Knobs are a good team. They have a bit of a few things. They're not necessarily a one-trick pony.
no, and not an easy team by any stretch of the
No.
imagination. Not a straightforward team. Potentially not a straightforward team to play against. What do you mean fend? Oh, fuck off. Yeah. Dodging. Oh no, was it block and catch is a weird combination. But they do enough, and they do enough extra things. They kind of play that role really, really well. And if you can get your head around them, and Ant clearly did. They just got them rocking. They did all the right things. As I said, they were the most savage nobility team. I literally saw him in the first turn I watched decide to lay the boots in and start fouling. Like, he was determined, even with the reserves that Liam had brought to get numbers up and take people off the pitch. It was brutal. But just rock solid game.
Awesome work to Ant. Like, well-deserved win, amazing result, and the nobility are when played well, they're a fantastic team, and Ant played them well. But that's it for the league. The league is done.
I did suggest to Ant, who will hate me for saying this, so I'm going to, that since he's won the league, now beaten the winner of Big V twice, and we all know realistically Victoria is probably the best Blood Bowl state in Australia. That potentially makes him the best player in Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah. So, it's going to feel good when I knock him off the throne next season, is the moral of the story.
So we're playing to win next season. Speaking of next season, so if you are in the Geelong area, or if you want to travel to the Geelong area to play, we are going to start up the next season probably towards the end of January next year. If you want details, jump in our Discord. We've got all the links attached to this subpar podcast episode. Jump into Discord, grab the link from there, and you can sign up for tour play and sign up for the league. We are friendly for new players. We encourage new players. We encourage people to play for fun, not for sheep stations. Let's have a bit of enjoyment in our lives. So by all means, if you are thinking about Blood Bowl, you want to give it a go, this is a great way of doing it.
You might a game in a fortnight.
Yeah, it's easy, fun people, and you can either come third or you can come last in your division. It's just a bit of fun either way. We also...
But if it is your first season here, there are your options: third or last.
Third or last. No.
Nothing.
Nothing in between. But yeah, look, I'm really impressed with the new guys this season, and
it's been great.
They've all done really well, all picked it up quite well, and I think already we've got a good number of people signed up for the next season already. So that's awesome to see.
And I mean, I still haven't, and I know I'm not the only one that hasn't, simply because I can't decide on a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm absolutely playing, but fuck it if I know what.
I mean, there's a few of you too. Like I know that Alice will play. I know that you'll play. We've already got 10 people signed up already, and we're a month and a bit out.
The other one I would say is, if you are Blood Bowl curious, you're Blood Bowl interested, you would like to give it a try, I for one am more than happy to play more Blood Bowl and more than happy to run people through games of Blood Bowl. So if you're going, I think I'm interested, you guys talk about it a lot. There must be something good about it. It must have some redeeming qualities. Let's suss it out. Look, hit us up. More than happy to organise games, run people through stuff. And then if you are keen, the first one's free, and then you're into a league.
Yeah.
That's how this plays out.
Look, we will give demo games to anyone. Anyone you want to play, we want to play with you. And also Blood Bowl.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Correct.
Anyway, so we'll wrap it up quickly. We do have an end of year competition going on. Check
We
that out on
do.
our Facebook. It is nearly the end of the year, so that will
When
be
does that
drawn
end?
at the end of the month.
That's not far away.
Not far away at all. I do have a number of entries. I'm keeping a little spreadsheet tally thing going. But you can win yourself a copy of Blood Bowl or Dungeon Bowl or whatever the Dungeon Bowl expansion is called. What is that called? Let's throw that in. If you want that, you can have that.
Sure. I mean, if you're gonna, unless you have both of the others, and that's all you
Yeah,
need.
exactly. That's an option. Or Marvel Crisis Protocol. We played
That
a lot
is
of that
also a good
this year.
game.
Also a very good game.
We should play some more of that.
We should indeed, and we will
Okay,
indeed.
deal.
But yeah, find the post on Facebook, give it a like, tag a friend or acquaintance or frenemy or whatever you want to call them. And that's it. That's good enough. You'll go into the draw. Patreons also get extra entries depending on the level. So we've been running this for November and December. The Patreons are the guys that put forward this money to help us give these things away. So they get extra entries. So you do have a couple of days to not only get into the giveaway draw, but you could also give yourself another entry if you are silly enough to want to join us as a Patreon.
That's pretty silly.
It is pretty silly. Speaking of silly, we have 2 new Patreons since we last recorded. So much thanks to Jared and Craig for jumping on board. And I've had a bit of a play around with the Patreon levels. So
everyone's now giving us more money, getting nothing extra in reserve.
No. I wanted to make them a little bit more, not unique, but actually, a bit of variety between them. Some of them give you access to, if you're a Patreon, you get access to the Patreon chat in Discord. If you are on a particular level, you also get access to another chat where you can help us talk about what sort of episodes you'd like us to record, what games you want us to play, any ideas that you have for future Blood Bowl tournaments or tournaments in general, that sort of stuff. I do have a brand new tier, which is the Thoughtless Patreon. So the most thoughtless of all of you, who will get a special shout out every single episode. So
that would be no one.
That would be no one. Apart from these
should be
people.
no one. Sorry, my bad.
So already we've got 2 people at that level. So a huge thank you. And not only is this the normal thank you that I'll give them every single episode, but also this is a special one because they've been with us from day one and have been amazingly supportive of the crap that we do. So a huge thank you. Thank you.
It's like a stakeout, but with thanks.
Okay, a huge thank you to Whack the Clinton and Alice. I did ask what they wanted to be called, and Whack the Clinton is the way that we are going.
I did see that as a response. I feel like he didn't think that all the way through, but that is a trend that we are seeing. So
I am quite happy to whack him.
With the Clinton?
Whack him with himself. My brain was going other ways.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I saw where you were going to.
And you diverted. You took a detour. You didn't join me.
Oh, well. Yeah, you can't have it all. So some things are a solo exercise.
Okay, all right. But anyway, that's probably it from us. Next episode, we'll go through the year that was. Jeez, it was a year. But until then, have a very safe, very happy Christmas, everyone. Thank you again for all of your support throughout the year. Like I said, be safe, look after each other. Give us a follow on Facebook, Spotify, Podbean, Twitch, OnlyFans if you haven't already. But Yeah. Thank you all.
If I follow us on OnlyFans, right, I still
Mhm.
have to sign up to OnlyFans.
I had to sign up. I had to sign up to OnlyFans to make the OnlyFans.
Yeah. So the only concern I have
Which,
with
incidentally,
all of
I
this,
haven't finished putting it together yet, so it doesn't technically quite exist yet.
I wondered whether I couldn't find it, whether it was me or whether it was some kind of secret thing. Anyway, but I think that the issue, so the concern is on a laptop that occasionally my wife borrows. If she happens to somehow navigate to and it logs in, I have to explain.
Podcast. It's all about the podcast.
As all OnlyFans accounts are.
That's right. The podcast is the exact reason why $300 comes out of your account.
I was going to say, and then explain the debit every. Oh shit! No, it's fine. I'll do it anyway. It's for the podcast. I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Damn it! I'm going to have to actually make the time and set it up properly. I will. Look, New Year's resolution: OnlyFans will be up and running.
We will absolutely
by January.
Look, and then we have to work out content to put on it.
Just naked dice.
As in, aren't dice always naked?
Well, that's it. It's easy photos.
Maybe we need that's too easy, right? No one wants full frontal nudity. Like, where's the imagination and anything in that, right? We need little dice lingerie.
Ooh. I can make pretty photos of the dice that the Patreons get for being on their tiers.
Yes.
In bikinis. All right, we're going.
Yeah, okay, let's stop this.
The dice in bikinis. That's what I was talking about.
Let's go. No, I've gone too far.
Let's
rein it back.
Quickly. End the episode now, Dose. End. Laters.
Thoughtless, casual.